YouTube Nation, Mayvent TV, aka me TV, aka I'm on a rampage today, and I'm only using Lizzie. That's right. Don't make me call for friends. Seriously, don't make me. Now, I will say this, all right? It's been a hell of a week. I've seen so many subscribers and comments that just been so overwhelming. Seriously, so a lot of you guys had a lot of positive things to say. Thank you. And a lot of you guys also said that El Prez sent you. Now, I talked to El Prez earlier this week, and I thanked him for it. I'll say it again. El Prez, thank you for the shout out. Seriously, thank you for the shout out. All right, now, guys, all you new guys, because my regulars know how we do it on the show here, so I'm going to explain something. This is a little rules of code of conduct, all right? All you new guys, all right, understand that this is a gaming community built off of respect and togetherness, like back in the old days, back in the arcades, all right? There's none of those guys acting a fool coming in here, screaming and carrying on. If you disagree with something, just present your case respectfully, whether it's with me or with any of the users, and they will talk to you respectfully. This is what this is about. If you do not know how to act, there's the door. There's the door, all right? That's not what we do here. There's plenty of channels on YouTube you can go and act that way. This is not one of them, all right? Letting you know that now. Like I said, regulars, seriously, welcome them to the show, welcome them to the community, take them in with open arms, and understand this is the weekend, baby. And you know how we do on the weekend. For you new guys who don't know how we do on the weekend, you watch me do me while I represent you. That's right, and that's what we getting ready to talk about, all right? Because the Wii U, I told you guys last week that I shortchanged you, and I was apologizing for that. So we're going to get into it a little bit today, and I want to tell you why I was disappointed with the Wii U. Now, there's already reports coming out that the Wii U cannot use DVDs or Blu-ray, all right? There's also reports that the Wii U can only be used on one controller with the Wii. Now, look, a lot of us, when we were watching it with the E3 conference talking on the fan page, when we were watching it live, man, it's just, I didn't understand this. You know, and some of us were like, well, is it a controller? And others of us were like, well, is it a console? What is it? You know, and I understand it. I really do understand why people are exactly, you know, on the fence. What I've seen from it was, I really thought that this was going to be a console. Now, I'll explain this, because I want to talk about the future of consoles. Because that's exactly where I thought the Wii U was going. What they were going to present, I really thought, they had me up here. And then after they showed a little bit, it brought me back down. Because I thought, at this point, consoles, I thought it was going to go like how the Japanese market are. I thought that they were really going to look at it and say, look, Japanese market, they use a lot of, handhelds. That's why consoles in Japan were sorely lacking for a long time. They were taking a hit because everyone was using handhelds. So I thought they were going to make a handheld device that had built-in Wi-Fi and all this stuff and built-in network into it, all right? And what they were going to do was they were going to be able to plug it up to the TV and then take it away from off the TV whenever they want to. So you still use the same thing. And it can be in a tablet form. That's fine. You know what I mean? But I didn't understand exactly what they were doing. I really thought that this was going to be next level gaming. It's not. I'm very disappointed. All right, and that goes with all, all portals. Understand? Like I said, when I'm thinking next gen, I'm thinking past that. I'm thinking not just a new iteration, because they're going to come out with new specs and everything. Once the first one comes out, they're going to either make it smaller or make it bigger or give it more options or whatever. They always do this. They always do this, all right? This is pretty much a prototype. The first one's pretty much a prototype, and that's for anything. We all know this by now. All right, so I was really disappointed to see that. And even though it is kind of cool, I mean, yeah, it's cool, but come on. I need to see more. You need to give me more at this point, because I'm not sold on it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really not sold on it yet. I'm just saying, I need to see more research on it. Now, look, I need to move on real quick, because we've got a lot to talk about today, and I'm telling you now, remember about 2 weeks ago, I had told you that Codemasters, I had said a couple things about Codemasters when they talk about selling half games and this, that, and the third. And for those who did not see the video, please check this out. I'm going to do some highlights real quick from what happened a couple weeks ago. This is what I had said. Codemasters CEO recommends selling unfinished games. Yeah, now look. I just talked about Codemasters not too long ago with Dirt 3, with their retarded-ass online pass. We just talked about last week, all right? But we're going to get into this, all right? It says, the video game industry has learned to operate in a different way, which is completely wrong, all right? It says, my answer for us is, as publishers, is to actually sell unfinished games. So they're doing it purposely. It says, and to offer consumer multiple micro payments to buy elements in the full experience. So, Codemasters, who just did Dirt 3, and you guys who did Dirt 3, please, by all means, send that shit back. You have to be kidding me. They're selling you half a fucking game, purposely sending you half a game. They're holding back on you. They're holding back. That, it's just, oh, it's a full game, but they're still, nickel and diming you, and that's fine. No, this is how it started. This is exactly how it fucking started. 1 minute, it's okay. You give them an inch, and they take a fucking mile. they have to take no for an answer. You have to really step up. And I see this way too much because a lot of gamers are saying, yeah, it's wrong, but we're not doing anything about it. I'm sorry, I told you guys before, if it takes 3 to 6 months to come out, I have no problem with it because, like I said, it's to prolong the longevity of that game. But don't sit here and tell me that you're going to come out with week 1 DLC or pre-order exclusives. No, that's bullshit. That should be on the disc, and it should be unlockable during the play mode. Just saying, alright? I'm sorry, but like I said, as consumers, we should get more for our money, and we should not be punished for bullshit. We shouldn't, and I'm going to explain that later. Now, let me say, guys, I just want one. Just give me one fucking complete game. Can you do that? Seriously, give me one game. Alright, they're focusing on multiplayer because it's more control. You got DRM, you got Beachhead, you got Pro Mode with SOCOM, you got DLC, right? EA is turning around and banning people who say anything bad about their product. We got online passes. Now you got monthly fees. Understand what they're doing here. Alright, this is not about used games. This is a cop-out. Instead of them being adults and taking responsibility for lack of product. So they're going to give you half a product, as we've said with Codemasters, half a product, lack of quality for top dollar. But now it's time to think, and I'm saying this as a suggestion, alright? It's time to think bigger. Every time a company, it doesn't matter if it's Sony, every time a company puts an online pass, every time a company drops a DRM, every time a company tries to add a monthly fee or a pro mode or a beachhead mode, take them the fuck down. Take them down. And what happened last week and this week? Codemasters hacked, Epic Games hacked, Bethesda hacked. That's right, on the hacking front in general, Sony has been caught in their lies again. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, I told you guys when this first happened, when they first announced that, customers' information may have been taken, I had said, that's a bunch of crap. I said, Sony knows what's going on, and they didn't let people know for a number of days. We had to see on forums everywhere, blindly defending Sony. They didn't know, this, that, and the third. And I said, there's no way a company that big does not know what's going on. And a lot of you guys agree with me. Well, this week, Sony got caught admitting it. It's just that it depends on what they feel is important as opposed to us. All right, so let's get into this real quick. Let's get into this. This is a joke. Seriously. All right, a spokesman for Sony said, we hadn't figured out at the time what kind of data had been leaked. All right, just throw that away real quick. All right, this is what you need to pay attention to. It says, if only passwords and IDs were breached, they cannot be considered personal information. So let me get this straight. If I have your password and your ID, I can get into your account management and get your personal information. It is a gateway. What don't you understand? So Sony doesn't feel that the gateway to getting personal information is important. Seriously, it's like they don't understand their own system, their own network. If you don't understand this, Sony, so whoever's doing this, they need to be fired. They need to be fired. This is a joke. This is a joke. They go on to say, and so we didn't want to bewilder our customers. That's what they say. All right, now it's a joke. Look, the article goes on, and here's the interesting part. Kyoto News puts it, Sony deliberately attempted to downplay the seriousness of the situation by not fully disclosing information. They knew and didn't disclose it. They lied to the customers. Anybody who's still defending Sony at this point, you a sucker. You's a sucker. What's wrong with you? Seriously, you cannot be this blind. You cannot be, and we're going to talk about more about people being blind in a minute. But I need to talk about this real quick. All these hacks that are going on, Codemasters, Sony, whatever, understand these hacks have shown actually what the companies are all about. So I understand that people don't like hackers. Who's ever doing all these hacks, I'll say it right now. Thank you. Thank you. It is the only weapon us gamers have left. What don't you guys understand? I can make videos till I'm blue in the face, and they wouldn't listen. All right, gamers can go on their forums, they can go on their blogs, they can send them messages and customer service, and you'll be ignored. You will be ignored. This is the only thing we have left to fight this. Listen, I understand that a lot of people don't like hackers, but they are doing us a favor. They're doing us a solid. They're doing us something, and a lot of people are saying, oh, well, they're only doing it for personal gain, or as you guys would say, for the lulz or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's getting the point across that gamers do have power. That's what it's saying, and that scares the companies. It scares them. All right? Because like I said, with all this DLC and all this BS, you know what? Let's move on to that real quick about this. Because I told you guys not too long ago about THQ and Homefront, about how they wanted to start the system where you pay $40 for the game, the retail game, right? You pay $40. And then what you do is they're going to do DLC and make you pay the extra because you're only getting half the game. You have to pay for the rest of the game, which would come out to be $60 total. Well, THQ is reportedly they will be moving future development for Homefront DLC and any future titles to THQ Montreal. Why? It says the cost of running a studio in New York City may have been a factor with Montreal offering tax breaks to game developers. Look, THQ, if you're having problems with tax breaks, seriously, that's just the tip of the iceberg at this point. If a game seriously, if a gamer buys a game for $40 and it tanks, they may not support it. They're telling you right now, if they're moving a studio seriously from New York City to Montreal because of some tax breaks, they've got bigger problems. They've got some serious problems. I don't trust THQ at this point. I don't trust them. I really don't. Now, I want to get in this real quick because for those who don't know, all right, earlier this week, I talked to a YouTube user, Blackbond. He had sent me some messages about EA. Now, he had wanted to buy Crysis 2 off of Steam, all right? However, when he got there, he was like, what the hell? Where's Crysis 2? Where's it at? And he goes on to say, he sent me a couple more messages saying, it's been pulled off of Steam. And at first he was like, is this EA's doing? And then, and I was like, this is kind of interesting. And then he sent me, a message saying, no. He said, Valve pulled this from their server or whatever, from off of Steam because of new rules and regulations. And I had said to him, I was wondering what these new rules and regulations are, who it benefits, who it hurts, what kind of rules are in place, because we all know about DRM and all that. So I wanted to know more, and I told him that I would get back to him on that. Now, I will say that I didn't get a chance to look into it, so next week we'll talk about that. But what he did send me was really interesting. Now, and I did a little bit more moving on with that part, because he sent me saying that EA has set up their own digital distribution service called Origins. Now, I told you guys a couple weeks ago, not too long ago, that EA was moving in this form. This is what they were going to do. They were going to move forward with it. And they lost a lot of people along the way. People got fired. They lost close friends. A lot of people quit. They were warned by many analysts and many experts, and they ignored them because they were too cocky. They admitted they made mistakes, and yet they haven't learned from them because they're still making the same mistake. Now, I will say this. All right? Crysis 2 is on EA's Origins. They want $60 for the game. Now, I told you guys a couple months ago again, going to backtrack again, all right? Told you guys that with PSP, and I put this in an example, PSP, all right, the UMDs cost a certain amount, and people were like, why are we paying so much for UMDs? And they say because of physical manufacturing, this, that, and the third. Now that those games are on the PSN, they're still the same. They're still the same price as the physical product. So no, it's not manufacturing costs. They're trying to bleed you dry. That's what it is. So Crysis 2 on EA's distribution service Origins is $60. Yeah, but here's what I also noticed, because also people on the fan page, Master Ozzy, he sent me something saying that you're not buying your games digital distribution from EA. You're not buying them. No. You're renting them. That's right. You're paying top dollar for a rental. Why? Because within a year, if you decide you want to play Crysis, say if you buy Crysis 2 and you have it for a year, within that year goes up, they take the game away from you. And if you want the game back, you'll have to pay for it again. That's right, you don't keep it, all right? And this is their way of saying, this is their way of saying it cuts down used games. You're taking the game away from us. And I know a lot of guys are going to say, well, it's not a big deal because I usually trade in my games anyway. But guess what? They are taking that away from you. They're taking that choice away from you. Like I said, I have a lot of classic games here, all right? Are you going to tell me that they're going to they would take that away from me? Seriously, you wouldn't be, if I can go back 1, 2, like I said, where was it? In the new generation now. It's 2011. If I go back and play, let's just say, a PlayStation 1 game, if I didn't have it anymore within that year, they'd take it away from me. You wouldn't be able to play classics anymore unless you pay for it again. This is not, and I told you guys, this is not going to work. Everyone's moving this cloud servicing, and it's going to hurt us bad. It's going to hurt us bad. And I'm going to move on real quick because I want to talk about this cloud servicing. An anonymous game developer came out and said, comments on the DRM and said it's a bunch of bull. All right, now it says here, I'm not going to reveal who I am. It says because I'm not going to be a popular person by the time this thread is done. All right, so this is the developer. It says, it's a foregone conclusion that we are moving forward a cloud-based system where very little of the game will reside on your hard drive. Retail stores used to fight this idea, but with how PC game sales are trending towards digital distribution, it's really not a question of if, but when. All right? It says, pay attention to this. This is going to get some of you guys. Most DLC is created before the game is finished. It says, more often than not, we are approached 50 to 60% into the development cycle of a game and asked how we will want to handle content post-production. I told you guys before, if it comes out 3 to 6 months afterwards, because they have to work on it after they're finished their production, I have no problem with that. But they're sitting here saying 50 to 60%. Halfway through the cycle, they can add that into the game, but they don't. Understand this, guys. I told you guys this. Seriously. It says someone is less likely to sell back their title if they know more content is on the way. And with the fact that some games now can be finished in a day playing time, we have to move fast with DLC announcements. So what you're saying is, because you didn't make a quality game or you made a popcorn flick game, now we have to suffer. So you want to say, we're going to give you a short game with high production that costs us a lot, and we'll announce DLC to keep you wanting more. Instead of just giving us a flat out game that we can play and probably keep for the rest of our lives. Yeah. It says, do I think what EA is doing is bull? Yes, I do. Are they getting away with it? Yes, they are. Gamers, it's up to you. It is up to you on how this works. Without us, they have nobody. They can sit here and they can pick us apart, but we have to stay together. You have to understand. We can fight this if you love your hobby that much. Seriously. Let's take a break real quick, because in old school games, I just talked about old school games, so let's talk about old school games real quick. I got a trailer coming up for you guys that you may just like. You know, Pepper is back if you don't know what I'm talking about. And if you do know what I'm talking about, then you're already probably cheering. Burger Time, that's right. New version of it. Check it out. The game looks great, and I really hope that the original version is on there, but we need to move on because Gearbox, we talked about this last week, how they were threatening reviewers over Duke Nukem Forever scores because apparently paying off reviewers isn't good enough. All right, they talked about how there would be consequences and tried to put the bug in the reader's ear saying there would be reader backlash. They said that. So we all know what happened with Duke Nukem Forever. We know it bombed. It bombed everywhere, all right? And you guys said in the comments, let's see if they make doing the threats. Well, it's already started, all right? They started blacklisting reviewers over Duke Nukem Forever. 2K has fired their American PR group over this Duke Nukem Forever thing. And it's weird because they act like they didn't publicize enough. Like I didn't see the commercials on TV. Seriously, David Jaffe comes out and says, critics need to step it up when it comes to consistency and rating. Look, this is one thing I have noticed here. And that's scapegoating. They all scapegoat. They used to blame the fans and saying, we didn't get it, this, that, and third. So now they would stop catering and pandering to fans and start catering to the reviewers. And now they're saying the reviewers don't get it. You know what? Seriously, take a look in the mirror and realize that you are not giving us quality. Realize that. Seriously. And I'll put this as an example because, seriously, you cannot fire a PR group for not publicizing enough. Demon Souls didn't even have any type of publicity when it came to the US. There was no commercials on TV for it. There wasn't. All right? But yet, you guys feel you need to fire somebody. This is a joke. Give us quality. Seriously, and you guys sent me messages about these fans, these backwards fans who are loyally you know, defending them. And I don't understand, and this is why I don't understand, because I talked about this before about how people, I compared them to drug addicts, all right? And you let the people talk bad about you, and you still go back. Another gamer said it best. It's actually battered wife syndrome. And they're right, because these companies have called us, they said that they don't care about our opinions, they've called us all types of names, they've said that we're not worth it, we're just numbers, and yet people still run and blindly defend them. Why? Why are you defending companies who don't care about you? It makes no sense. And speaking of companies, yes, speaking of companies, Activision has come out and had to reassure the fan base that Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the Elite, with the whole Modern Warfare thing, the Elite version, whatever, 90% of Modern Warfare 3 will be free. Will be free. So what you're telling us, Activision, is that 10% is what you want people to pay monthly for map packs and guns. You've just given us everything we need to know. It's done. All right? And speaking of Activision, Bobby Kotick, I don't understand this. He's trying to buy MySpace. He's trying to buy... Bobby. Noosey, stop. Seriously, I don't understand this. Everything you touch turns to crap for everyone else but you. Just stop. Stop it. Bobby, go sit down. No one likes you. And for those who don't understand what happened with Bobby just not too long ago, at E3, he wanted to play Battlefield 3 and was denied. They wouldn't even let him in the booth because of competition purposes. Now, I need to move on because we're going to talk about some games now. Transformers MMO. A lot of you guys came and said, I want to know more information on it. A lot of you guys also said, I really don't care because it's going to play like RuneScape, whatever. Well, I'll give you the information anyway, all right? Look, Transformers Universe will be an action-oriented MMO based on the classic Hasbro franchise. Players will be able to choose between Autobots and Decepticons, taking the role of their very own Transformer. So, create a character is confirmed, all right? Designing and customizing them to fit their gameplay style. Universe sets within the Prime timeline, along with the book Exodus, the War Cybertron games, and the Prime cartoon. It is set to be released in 2012. All right, guys? It's set to be released in 2012. That's your Transformers news. Ninja Gaiden 3. All right? We got some details for you guys. All right? Check this out. At E3, Team Ninja publicly revealed a few details on Ninja Gaiden 3 this week. The game will have 2 multiplayer modes, a cooperative one and a competitive mode, up to 8 players. Yes, Ninja Gaiden 3 will also allow you to download new challenges, characters, and missions when you connect online. I don't know if they're going to charge you or not yet, all right? But you know how these things are by now. More likely they will. God of War, God of War Origins Collection, all right? These are the 2 PSP games. All right, they will be priced at $40. Just to let you know, it's coming in a bundle. Now, there's also talk of Mass Effect 3 possibly coming with 4-player co-op mode. All links are in info bar for you guys. I will be keeping up on this. Like I said, I want some confirmation before I even tell you guys. Right now, I think it's just rumor. It's possibly going to happen. DCUO, it's still suffering. Freezes after freeze. They had a hot fix and it's still freezing. People are being mad. I've been getting a lot of messages from you guys saying, look, I canceled my subscription. That was it. It's the end. All right. DCUO, once again, SOE, you messed this up for yourselves. I don't feel bad for you. All right. Devil May Cry HD Collection. I talked about this last week. I had said in the Devil May Cry in the video last week that there may be a collection coming. Last week they confirmed that it wasn't coming. Now this week it may be coming. God, seriously. I'll believe it when I see it at this point. All right? I'll believe it when I see it. I don't trust anything at this point. Also, the DMC, Devil May Cry live interview that a lot of you guys missed during, E3? It's back up now. The link is in the info bar if you really want to watch the interview. Now, guys, look. That's it for today. I'm really done for today. It's been long. I'm tired. I'm congested. My allergies are killing me. I want to say that gamers understand that this is going to get worse. They are moving at a highly rapid pace right now, and we are still trying to get together. We're still trying to form together while they are way ahead of us. We can't let this keep happening. Seriously. But anyways, I'll talk to y'all then. We got a new trailer. Some of you guys want to see this trailer, so I gave it to you. I'm sure some of you guys haven't seen it yet. Maybe it'll pique your interest. I'm not sure. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Y'all have a good weekend. I'm out. And oh, by the way, I just did this whole video without cursing. Talk to y'all then.
Jackie Estacado, in the flesh. You've been keeping something that was once lost. Something that doesn't belong to you. Now you have to choose to give it back. The darkness made you watch your girlfriend's murder. Your first meaningful act as its host was one of submission.
If they take me, you lose Yanni.
I want the darkness. Jenny's dead. Focus! Face it, Jackie. You can't control the darkness, and you never could.
I'm stronger than you think. Jackie! To the dark!
Jackie.